Today we're going to talk about Windows utility alternatives. This is actually stuff I haven't made, but I wanted to give you an alternative to some of the things that WinUtil does. This is actually a post on my subreddit, and I wanted to get into it. First, I want to give a broad overview of WinUtil and what it does, and then what these alternatives will do. Now, the first screen under install, you can see all your different apps here, which is just great. So the idea behind this is on a fresh install, you would go through, click all the apps that you want to install, go boom, and then once that's done, hit install. The funny thing is, the alternative to this is WinGetUI. That's actually in my application, and on all new installs, I install it because I do use it ongoing through the system because it's great for managing applications in your system. So I highly recommend installing WinGetUI alongside of your suite on an initial install. So that's what the install section of my utility does, and I'll get to WinGetUI. It's really neat here in a minute. Now, as far as the tweaks go, I just recommend doing the standard tweaks. There's one extra tweak we just added in the last couple months, given all the exploits on Windows around Windows Platform Binary Table, which is just a fancy way of saying manufacturers load a bunch of executables and run them at elevated privileges before your system boots in Windows. Gotta love Windows and how secure it is. But let's say you have an ASUS motherboard with Armory Crate. There was a bunch of exploits that came out earlier in the system, and your system was pretty much wide open for about 6 months there. If you want to learn more about those exploits, Low Level TV has a really good rundown of WPBT. MSI and other manufacturers do utilize this as well. It's a pretty big gap in Windows, but one we can easily close by just disabling the platform binary table. And also, if you have those tools, I would uninstall them and also go into your BIOS and disable them. They aren't good. They don't give you any extra performance. They're going to bloat up your system and cause more vulnerabilities. So definitely disable WPBT. Now, past that, we have config. These are just ease of access to get like the old printer panel. Like this has disappeared. It's a certain shell command to get to it. And then other ease of access things like if I want to install NFS, this is just like a one-click install where there's a lot of reg edits and other things that has to happen to install NFS or auto login and other things here. Now, as far as updates, I usually just do security updates. All this does is push out security updates. So any like feature updates won't get installed immediately, but you will get security updates. As long as you're on Windows Pro system. If you're a home user, this group policy won't take effect. And then the big things, MicroWin, another thing that the Windows utility does. This is just a sane install. I've done videos on this in the past. I highly recommend checking them out if you want to use MicroWin. But essentially, you remember how you install Windows 7 and then you had an empty desktop? That's essentially what MicroWin does. It just doesn't install all the extra crap and all the like recommended and telemetry features. It strips most of that down, but also leaving the stock Microsoft installed. So if you have any dependencies or other Microsoft tools you use, it's not going to remove like your phone and other things. So this isn't a massive debloat or a minimal OS install. It's just meant to be a sane one that doesn't have any advertisements. And it's frankly how Microsoft should ship Windows. Just as they did in the original Windows 7 days. So that's what WinUtil does, and I want to get in now to some of these alternatives. First up, WinGetUI. What does that look like? Right here is the UniGetUI. Oh my gosh, it's such a great program. I love this to death. Not only does it manage WinGet, it also manages PS Gallery, NPM, which is Node, pip, which is Python, and it even does cargo. I mean, this is just the Chad of all Windows program management. I can't live without it. So I highly recommend, if you haven't done it, it's free, it's well maintained, and it is just such a treat to use. You can update all your programs in one click. Just a fantastic package manager. This is what I use. You can even see all the different package managers you can manage through it. You have all of this, and it does a phenomenal job. So shout out to UniGetUI. If you don't have this installed, you don't know what you're missing. I highly recommend. I would do a massive update. I'm just going to click one and update like 7-zip really fast just to show you what that looks like. And you can kind of just go, yeah, I want to update that. Maybe update fast fetch too. And then you can see the queue back here, and you can close and skip each one. Oh, it's just such an amazing utility. Now, CrapFixer's a little different. This is more of a kind of a newer. It's kind of been out for a couple years, and it's gone through a different iterations. So I still prefer my tweaks, but I think this is a viable alternative. Now, first up, CrapFixer, we're just going to do an analyze real fast. This shows you all the different tweaks it's going to do. And this shows you the registry entry and say, hey, this is the recommended value. This is what you have it set at. And the thing is, like the fly menu and transparency effects, this just depends on you as a person. There's some opinions here. I like to just say, here's the essential tweaks. And then I leave a lot of like the fly out menus and those types of search to you, the user. It has toggles on the right side. This just takes everything and says, hey, let's strip it down. Let's do the tweaks. Most of these tweaks are great. And honestly, I highly recommend changing them. But a couple of them aren't. Like such as the debloat apps, it does go through removes OneDrive Sync, Dev Home, and then also the Your Phone app if it's on here. For whatever reason, I don't have Your Phone on this specific system, but that's one other one. Also, Game DVR, if you do use Xbox Pass, make sure you don't disable this one. Power throttling actually doesn't do anything these days. I used to do this tweak, but I no longer bother with it. Other things that are worthy of note, if you are a Microsoft Edge user, make sure you disable all Edge tweaks, because if you do all these tweaks, Edge essentially is just going to be like everything's managed by it. All the settings will be grayed out, and it's going to be a miserable time for you. So either use Chrome or don't do any of the Edge tweaks. The only other controversial setting here that I would disable is speed up shutdown time. Now, on some systems, this does work, but when I did it several years ago, we had issues of people's shutdown times getting elevated to 5 or 10 minutes because of this tweak. So it's not a great tweak, one that I would stay away from. But let's say you do this, the rest of these look pretty solid. So it's a good alternative to doing my tweaks. You can hit Run Fixer right here in the lower right-hand corner, and it would do these tweaks. And you have the restore here where it'll restore everything to its original state. Next up is going to be Tiny11 Builder. Now, when I first covered Tiny11, I didn't recommend it because Tiny11 was distributed through basically an ISO on archive.org, which is highly illegal and not something that I recommend ever downloading any kind of custom Windows 11 ISO. I think you should build it your own. If you don't want to use my tool, I would highly recommend, instead of MicroWin, probably an NTLite kind of situation where you build out your own ISO. But if you kind of want a trimmed down Windows 11 image, I think Tiny11 Builder is not bad. I don't know if I'd recommend it, but it's a decent alternative. Let's just say that. And as long as you don't use the core will strip out like the update, Windows Update, Windows Defender, Windows Component Store. This is going to break so much stuff. Like this is really only meant for like a single use case for that system, and that system's going to be very vulnerable. So this don't ever do Tiny11 Core unless you know exactly what you're doing. But the rest of this is not bad. Like the standard Tiny11 isn't a bad setup. It'll be fine as an alternative. I still prefer MicroWin, and even more than that, if you're a professional, I highly recommend NTLite as another alternative. Downside to NTLite, though, is it is, I think, $30 last time I checked. Let me pull it up. It actually increased. Inflation, $40. So yeah, NTLite is probably the de facto standard. It's been around for like 20 years. Another good ISO creation tool. But these are kind of the alternatives I see for WinUtil. I highly recommend WinUtil still. Of course, I'm still building it. A lot of people are like, do you even use Windows anymore? And I'm like, yeah, of course I do. I use Mac. Yeah, I use Linux, primarily Linux. But I do edit these videos on a Mac. And I still am in and out and doing updates to WinUtil. Essentially, every couple weeks, I'm popping in here. We do it on live streams over on Twitch or any YouTube members. And we update these things. So I have 3 utilities: WinUtil, MacUtil, and LinuxUtil. And these things are all things that we're going through and fixing as time goes on. You know, Microsoft's going to be Microsoft. The next big update is going to be 25H2, which is coming down in just, geez, I think it's later this month or even next month is when that's dropping. And we'll be doing updates for WinUtil on that. But I at least want to make this video, give you some alternatives. Let me know your comments down below. And thank you to all my YouTube members, Twitch subscribers, and patrons. Without you guys, I couldn't keep doing this. And I'll see you in the next one.